I do, folks. How you doing? Just a quick one. I was just talking to a mate this morning and was discussing who you are, which is the only important thing to know when dealing with any situation, claim or anything. And as I was saying, the knowledge I've got is the knowledge I've accumulated throughout years, so I can't put my knowledge into your heads. But what I can do is cut out years of what you need to learn, or no, cut out years of what I've learned to try and let you guys know that you don't need to learn all that to be able to handle your own affairs. You can do it just in plain simple English, and you can do it with knowing who you are, and that's all you need to know. And I've been telling people that for years and years and years, and very few, there are a few, but very few have actually realised who they are properly. So I'm going to try and explain it. It's complicated because it's a knowing, it isn't a thing, it's something you know. But there's a trust relationship out there. Everything is trust, literally everything is trust, and everything coming at you is commerce with the trust, not with you. You're the man and the woman. As far as the trust's concerned, you're the beneficiary. That's all you need to know. The beneficiary can only benefit from the trust. So, as beneficiary, you hold no liability whatsoever. None. The liability is with the trustees. And whoever's administering the trust is putting themselves in the position of trustee, judge, etc., etc. And they're in the position of trustee or agent. And that is all there is to it. The fiduciary capacity, agent or trustee. There's only those positions they can be coming at you from. Now, if they're the agent, they need to go to the trustee, the one that's in the position of liability. You're the beneficiary. Come to the wrong fella. So look at it this way, right? Defend it like it's your missus or your chap. Somebody comes and they're trying to sort some shit out or start some shit with your partner. They're trying to give your partner hell, trying to hit your partner or whatever. You're going to jump in defence. You're going to, hey, blah, 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 blah. But it isn't you. You're going to defend that partner of yours, but it isn't you. But you're going to defend it automatically and naturally, like a lioness. And that's how you should be defending the trust. Because they're coming at the trust. You're the beneficiary. Whoa, I ain't the fucking trustee. And I say it's as simple as that. It is as simple as that mentally. That's what you need to get. Now, as I was saying to somebody this morning, when you actually get it, you don't need to ask somebody how you do something. You of course, the specifics and who you need to speak to, what sort of angle you need to go at, you can be asking. Yeah, absolutely. Even I ask questions of some folks. But the fact of what you're going to do, you should know. You should absolutely know. No, whoa, that ain't me. Why would I consent to that shit? Because that's only going to lead to a fine or something to me. Why would I consent to that? That's how you need to be thinking. That isn't me. I'm the beneficiary. You need to take that shit to the trustee. And it is that simple. But as I say, it's an attitude, it's a knowing. So simple is only relative to the point of you knowing. And once you know, it really is that simple. So if you're not getting it, or you think it's difficult at the minute, adjust your thinking. You're trying to get something that's really easy. So if you're not getting it, that means you're on the wrong track. Alter your tracks. Just try thinking about who you are. You're the beneficiary. And I keep saying it, and I'll keep saying it, you're the beneficiary. As far as executor and anybody can say, oh no, you're this and you're that and you're the other, you can deal with that later, but for now the only thing you need to think of is beneficiary. I never even entered chief executor into my notices until there was a purpose for it. I won't appoint myself any position there's no purpose for. So right off the bat, I'm only beneficiary. That's the only position you're going to get me in. When there's a call for it, I'll be chief executor. But until you fully understand what's going on, you don't want to be messing with any other positions other than the beneficiary. And as long as you always know you're the beneficiary and the beneficiary only, you can't be touched. You cannot be touched. These claims cannot get to you. Now, I learned this before I'd learned 80% of what I know today. Right in the very early days. Beneficiary. Oh, in fact, in the early days, right at the very start, I was standing in the position of settlor. But still, as settlor to the trust, I had the power. But in time, I realised that beneficiary was the position to be in. You can sit in other positions, because once you've got the attitude of that isn't me, that isn't you. And this is why some of these other groups actually succeed in a few little things but fail in the big things. It's no fluke that it is to them a bit of a fluke, I suppose, but they hit on something because they wasn't standing as the trustee and they didn't give any joinder, so they won. But I think a lot of these groups, although they knew that was happening and that won, they didn't know why. And that's the key. And the key is because you're the beneficiary only. The only thing that's going on, there's two things going on, trusts and commerce. They're the only things that's going on in your life, I promise you. On any of the shit that's coming to you whatsoever, it is trust and commerce. Forget all this shit that these others are spouting, like common law courts and all that crap. Of course they've fucking gone through a couple of little wins, otherwise no fucker would pay any attention to them whatsoever. But to my knowledge, they're affiliated with the Scottish Government, and as far as I'm concerned, they're absolute fucking shill organisation. Otherwise they would have been telling you right from the fucking start, it's a trust relationship and it's just commerce. They need your consent, they need you to stand in the position of trustee. If you won't do that, they can't move forward. Now, I've watched that, this video weren't about calling them out particularly, but I've watched them fucking fail on some really fucking easy shit. On some really easy shit. Like fucking extraditing that fucking David Noakes. At the end of the fucking day, that would have been an absolute piece of fucking piss. That entire case, from start to fucking finish, from selling that fucking product to fucking getting him extradited and Lynn Dyer extradited. Bollocks. I sent messages directly through to them, and Tish Wan will fucking tell you, because she's the one that passed the message, that I could have fucking helped them, and I weren't out. And somebody recent I've helped on something massive, and I don't shout about it. I'm not about that. I don't want the glory. I could have ended that in one fucking notice. That's how easy that entire situation could be. So let's ask this question. That's what told me what common law court was in absolute. But what was David Noakes as well? What was he? Because he had a lot of people talking to him. That was a really easy situation to end. Really fucking easy situation to end. And they all are. And this is what pisses me off about what's going on out there. Nobody's really getting it. Even some of those that have been in this 20, 30 fucking years just ain't fucking getting it. And it's absolutely ridiculous, and it's because these people ain't fucking telling you straight. If you're going to get wrapped up with these people, and some of them spend years with these folks running around in these fucking circles, in the inner circle, and see the bullshit, and because of the friendship, they help cover them and fucking, they don't call them out. So what's that? What are those? You guys that are in the groups with these folks that you know damn well are full of shit. Why are you there? Why are you still I follow him because I fuck off. People are stupid. people are stupid, and even when they know for a fact they're following a shill, they still keep fucking following the shill. That isn't somebody who wants to know. Anybody who wants to know how to fucking handle their own affairs needs to get it straight in their head right from the start what's going on. If you can't work out what's fucking going on, you can't ever get a full comprehension of how to handle yourself. Never. It'll never fucking happen. And anybody telling you there's anything going on other than trust and commerce is full of fucking shit, because that's the only thing going on. You're the beneficiary to the trust. You can only benefit from the trust. Do you wish to conduct commerce with these parasites? If no, don't conduct commerce with them. Stop consenting. Start dealing with it properly. Start learning how you handle things. Don't throw things in the bin. Immediately you're acting as trustee. You're making the decision not to fucking handle this affair. That's unconscionable. It don't work that way. You respond to everything. You tell them you're not the fucking, you're not the all caps name. You're the beneficiary only. Learn. There's loads of notices. I've done a fuckload of notices that are all publicly available. And absolute loads, especially on the little end of the scales, how to deal with the little parasites. But that's where you get your confidence. And when you realise that you're batting away these little parasites, and occasionally they'll chuck a solicitor in there to deal with it for them because they can't handle you, and then you deal with the solicitor and you think, hang on a minute, I've just took out a solicitor. Well, if I can take out a solicitor, that means I'm fucking right. And at that point, when you start doing things like that, you start realising, fuck, yeah, actually, I'm right. And when you're right, you're not fucking wrong, are you? And it don't matter what the situation is, because it's always the same. It don't matter whether it was a solicitor, a prosecutor. I've dealt with prosecutors in the ease as one notice, just fuck off. And I tell you now, the higher up the chain you go, the easier it is to deal with, because they know the law. The little twats down the bottom, they haven't got a fucking clue on the law. All they know is I've got to do my job, and my job is to keep fucking him. So I'm just going to keep writing silly little fucking notices or little letters to you after you've served lawful notices. You need to learn how to get over them, past them, deal with the real folks, because the real folks know that they're breaking the law. So they're very easy to deal with, because you just knowing that stops them. They can't continue because you know. If you know how to verbalise the fact that they're committing treason by holding or taking you into a magistrate court, how do you think they're ever going to take you into a magistrate court? That's treason. And if you can verbalise it, they know that you're just going to stand there in court and verbalise it. Game's over. And it's the same with any claim. So start learning to deal with higher up, but practice low down. Practice with debt collectors. Everybody's got a mate who's got some problems with a debt collector. Practice with them. It's only through building your confidence that comes the knowledge of really who you fucking are. Because until you're actually doing it by your own hand, you're not getting any confidence. If you're getting somebody else to do it for you, all you're confident in is that folk can help you. But you could do it. If you've ever had, I mean, there's so many folk out there have had notices off me, and as far as I'm concerned, anybody who's ever had a notice off me should know exactly how to deal with that situation if it ever arises again, because it was dealt with on a notice, and if you had any brains, you'd have took a photocopy. Well, usually I've sent it to you anyway, and it's there, you've got it. We go in Wonky World file section, see notices. It's not rocket science, but it doesn't have to be worded in the same terminology that I do it. That comes again with my knowledge. I can go a little bit further, I can give it a little bit more clout. But my early day notices used to work fine, and they had no power at all. They had no clout whatsoever, other than the fact I knew who I was. Or who the person was, the folks, should I say. I know there's some out there pedantic on words and terminology. I will absolutely stick to the fact you don't need to get wrapped up in your words. You really don't. Words are really, really powerful. And if you've got the right words to throw out there, it's like throwing sledgehammers. But as far as everyday talk, you're just chatting. You're not casting spells. No intention. You're just chatting. So don't fucking worry about tripping up. I suppose to start off with you have to be a bit pedantic about words, but I'm not now. I don't care when somebody says to me the word understand. I don't care unless it's a copper, unless it's anybody in officialdom. Just chatting, we're just chatting. We've all learned these words that we speak to communicate. They've learnt them to use as weapons. Plain simple English, plain simple counting systems, you can remove the power of their words. Absolute, you can just remove the power of them. Only one language being spoken here. If there's any other language being spoken, I require a translator. Bang. Plain simple English, plain simple counting systems. It's not rocket science. You've just got to learn how to stand as who you are. Whatever level of knowledge you've got, that's all that matters. It's your level of knowledge you're working at. So work at that level of knowledge. But once you've got the knowledge that you're the beneficiary, not the trustee, work on that. And you've got enough knowledge to get yourself out of just about any shit going. And then as you progress and as you practice and as you do it with the little ones, it gets bigger and bigger, and you start dealing with the bigger ones, the higher up. And before you know it, you know in advance how to deal with literally every situation. It doesn't matter what comes at you, because it's all one situation. It's all one. Somebody's trying to get you to be trustee, but you have to appoint that position. And it's as simple as that. Somebody's trying to conduct commerce with you. Do you want to walk in that shop? No, I'll go into that shop. Do you want to do commerce with this? It's just the same. No, I don't want to do commerce with you. So you tell them, we have no business. We have no contract. If you believe we have a contract, show me the signed in wet ink signature. Commercial law. There must be a signature. If there's no fucking signature, there's no fucking contract, is there? Listen, folks, I'm going to leave you at that. Maybe we'll do a few more like this, but the most important thing is just know who you are and know what's going on. Like I say, until you know what's going on, you can't deal with it. So you must know what's going on. So rather than trying to understand how to solve a problem, start working on your understanding of the problem. Start thinking about what the problem is. What is the problem here? Because the problem here is your understanding of the problem. It's not a good understanding. You've not got a good standing of it at all. So yeah, this massive problem comes to you. It was no different to your last problem. Somebody's trying to get you to do commerce with them in the position of trustee. What's your position? Who are you? And do you wish to do commerce with them? Now, when you get that, you won't need to know anymore. You won't need to know anymore. You won't be asking of how to do this and how to do that, because you will absolutely know it. It's not because you needed to know a process. You didn't need to know something that was in my head. You need something in your head, and that's who you are, and that's all you need to know. That isn't me. That is not me. Imagine them coming knocking on your door for your next door neighbour and trying to take you for your next door neighbour. That fucker ain't me. That's not me. It's him next door. Same thing. Sorry to use your next door neighbour and your missus in the same analogy. But the reality is, it is the same thing. You want to be defending the fact of the trust. You're the beneficiary of the trust. You want to be defending that like it's your missus, but you want to be denying acceptance of the position of trustee like they're trying to take you for your neighbour. It ain't you. It ain't you, but hold it dear. Ignore all this shit about cancelling your trusts and claiming your straw mans, and they're all the circles people have spun you in. How do I get control of my straw man? No, it isn't about control of a straw man. It's about knowing who you are within the trust relationship, and that is all you need to know. who you are within the trust relationship. All the extras and the shit that people see me doing, I'm travelling under my rights to travel. Loads of folks asked for that. You need to know a hell of a lot more before you go down them roads. It isn't about templates at this stage, and no template can cut it. So if you start getting somebody doing something for you, you're not going to be able to stand on it, so it will not work. It's not like getting somebody writing a template for a bailiff. So those that want to know about the rights to travel, yeah, I can tell anybody how to travel under the rights to travel, but it don't mean you're going to be able to succeed, and I should imagine not many will. Because you need the knowledge first. You need to absolutely know who you are. And if you don't know who you are, you ain't got a fucking chance in hell in pulling this shit off. You really haven't. So folks, today's lesson, know who the fuck you are. Listen, I'm going to leave it at that, and maybe we'll do a few more on this. We'll see how this one goes down. But bottom line, it's all on you. It's all on you. Every bit of shit you've ever got into, it was you that put yourself in the position of trustee, and it's you who accepted contract. It absolutely is. And that's why, if you learn who you are, literally everything is rebuttable. Literally every claim that comes towards that legal fiction, all caps name, is absolutely rebuttable with ease. But you must know who you are. Have a good one, folks. Ta-da.